Hello, dear friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is news time again from this very good channel. Welcome back. How are you all doing? Hope you're good. I pray that God will be with you in your endeavors. Today, we have another update for you. And I want you to, after listening to it, you drop your opinion and suggestions you have so that Biafra will be free. And that's just it. Okay, let's go there.
My name is Ifeanyi Ejiofor, human rights activist and social crusader. I'm lead counsel to IPOB in various matters we handle for them. So, and by special grace of God, a lawyer that has distinguished himself in his practice of law. Thank you so much. Coming to the issue at hand, if you are following my discussion before Simon Ekpa was arrested, if you are following my discussion over the social media before Simon Ekpa was arrested, you understand that I've been raising this alarm over time about the activities of Simon Ekpa. And I have some people who are not well informed, refuse to understand his activities and what actually is set out as achieve. Because ab initio, he was not in any form of agitation. He was there committing all forms of criminality, blackmailing people. At some point, I took him to court in Abuja here. So as a matter of fact, the matter is still ongoing today. So, and where people were being informed to understand what he's doing. Because if you take into cognizance or probably consideration as to what transpired at a point in time, the historians, how he's inciting people to commit all forms of atrocities, you will know that he's clearly out of the struggle.
Hold it there. First of all, he's saying that he's the one speaking on behalf of Simon Ekpa and the rest. He is the one. He's saying he's the IPOB spokesman. A man who was sacked by Nnamdi Kanu still professed to be the legal spokesperson for IPOB. What does that tell you? It tells you that this guy is not working for for Nnamdi Kanu. Instead, he's working for the DOS. And in his last case, the one they call Chike Edoziem, the so-called head of DOS, he was cleared by the Nigerian government of any act of terrorism. But to show you that sometimes, they say when you play with the devil, when you want to feast with the devil, you must come with a long spoon. He made a mistake because Nigeria got him somewhere. In the statement of his freedom, Nigeria, in the statement, they said, Chike Doziem is a law-abiding citizen of Nigeria. There should be no case against him. He has done no wrong. He should be allowed to visit Nigeria without being harassed by the DSS as a terrorist, because he is a law-abiding citizen of Nigeria. Underline those words: law-abiding citizen of Nigeria. That's how Nigeria rolls. So now they have shamed him, a man who claimed to be the head of the DOS, the Directorate of State, Command and Control. But when this man fought for his case, yes, he won the case, while his leader, Nnamdi Kanu, is still being held in the DSS dungeon. And one of the so-called crime is terrorism. They proscribed IPOB. But in this man's case, Chike Doziem was set as a free man, but in the statement by the judge, they said they should see him as a law-abiding citizen of Nigeria. So suddenly he has moved from Biafra to Nigeria. So when this man is saying that he is the lead counsel of IPOB, I hope now you can see the difference. You can spot the difference. You can see where he's coming from. Now what he's saying is that he is one of those who went against Nnamdi Kanu. He's one of those who smoked out Nnamdi Kanu. And we all know it was in his house that a commander of ESN was killed, the one they call Gentle. Fellow Biafrans, we must smoke out those in the USB government who are working with this man. We must find them out. They are there in the new government of Simon Ekpa. We must smoke them out. Because the behavior, the antics going on in the government of Simon Ekpa, it is clear that some people, they are now pro-Nigeria, but they pretend and profess they believe and love Biafra. Let's continue.
If I can ask you, this is a rhetoric question. Someone that says agitating for the salvation, for the liberation of his people, how can you tell me that you're encouraging killings of some people, you're actually agitating for their liberation and encouraging violence against them, abduction, kidnapping, for ransom?
Hold it there. Can you see the language? I'll be cutting this video short. This is how I roll. I'm back to the way I do my own videos. If you're not happy about it, click the exit and go somewhere else. The gloves are off. No more time for jamboree or cracking jokes. You heard what you just said here. The same team used by all the media in Nigeria, they call Simon Ekpa the killer of his people. And this same man has just said it. How can he say he's agitating for Biafra when he's killing his people? Now you understand why I was so vexed with the one they call Mayegu. A man that some of you'll still listen to. You give him your money. You give him super chats. You bless him. You think he's a friend of the Biafrans. Well, I wonder what kind of Biafra that he supports. Because that same man called the most beloved disciple of Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa. He called Simon Ekpa a killer of his people. Mayegu. He says Simon Ekpa is a coward. That while in court in Finland, Simon Ekpa took a paper to cover his face. He is a coward. Mayegu, the general, addressed our beloved leader, Master Simon Ekpa, as a coward and a killer of his people. And some of you Biafrans who claim you love Biafra, who say you love Simon Ekpa, who say you believe in what we are doing, you are still listening to a man who calls Simon Ekpa a killer of his people, who calls Simon Ekpa a coward. To those Biafrans who are still doing this, now I know where you stand. You are the type who are lost, who you think anything good can come out of the camp of your enemies. He called Simon Ekpa a killer of his people, Mayegu of all people. And when he spoke about Simon Ekpa, he called his real name. Simon Ekpa is a coward. Simon Ekpa is a killer of his people. What sort of foolish freedom fighting is he doing? He's not a freedom fighter, he's a terrorist. He's a killer of his people. But the same Mayegu understands psychology here. The same Mayegu, when he's speaking about Tinubu, he calls him with a nickname, Tifnubu. When he's speaking about Wike, he calls him with a nickname, Were Wike, not even with their real name. To show you he's more like a clown, a jester. And you all love it. You think he's a darling, he's a friend of the Biafrans. But he has called the one we love so much a coward, a killer of his people. And today, Ifeanyi Ejiofor is saying the same thing. So to the Biafrans who are still listening, paying attention to Mayegu, may the shame of Biafra fall upon you.
All sort of things. So I've written so many things about that. Even I can recollect the last piece I wrote was about when I urged the Southeast governors to take a firm position about the situation. But Anambra State governor, I said, no, it's time for you to develop a mechanism towards addressing this ravaging insecurity in the state. Because can no longer continue to further answer and allow it to stand. One day we'll not see someone who want to govern again. So, and I commend Soludo for inaugurating Agro Chamber Security Outfit because they are doing marvelously well in Anambra State. I commend him. So, and also encourage other state governors to take a cue from him. But other governors, like the other state governor and the Enugu, they are doing extremely well in their own.
Hold it there. Now you know that the so-called leader of IPOB, the so-called legal representative of IPOB, is in support of the Nigerian government, the so-called Southeast governors, floating Ebobeagu, Agune Chamber, AVG, and the rest of them. While Biafrans are crying that these guys are killing us, while we are crying that the so-called Ebobeagu and the rest are killing us, Now you know the supporters, the patron of those organizations. One of them is a so-called legal leader, the lead counsel of IPOB, as he likes to, describe himself. When we cry that Asari Dokubo, they have green light to come to our land, those they call special forces, they have the green light to come to our land to kill us, while Biafrans are crying. Even while the so-called IPOB Nigeria members, they are crying. Unknown to them that the so-called lead counsel of IPOB is a stakeholder. He is a grand patron of those criminal elements coming in the guise of being security outfits. Fellow Biafrans, take a paper and pen and start writing these points down. Because going forward, when they ask you and say Simon Ekpa is the killer of his people, remind them that the so-called lead counsel of IPOB is in support of Ebube Agu, is in support of Agune Chamber, AVG and the rest of them, is in support of special forces that come to the land to kill our people. Let it be on record that he is supporting the governors. Now you understand when we said the DOS, they were working with the governors. Now it is being unraveled, it's been revealed for you all to know that the DOS were working with the governors. That Nnamdi Kanu is where he is right now because the DOS and this criminal here, they work hand in hand, pari passu, with the governors. Take a paper and pen and start to write these points down. That next time when they call Simon Ekpa a politician, that he's working with the politicians, he's working with Tinubu, he's working with Dave Umahi, he's working with the governors. Now you know the real people who are working with the governors of the so-called Southeast. Let it be on record. He just said it here. Let it be on record. Let's continue. Listen.
In their own strategy they adopted towards fighting insecurity, that didn't extremely well, so I must also commend them. So we are aware. I'm not surprised that he will end up in the manner in which he ended up, because I know that it's a function of time. A function of time that the long arm of the law will catch up with him. And I thank God that he's today behind the bars and giving account of his stewardship. Of course.
He is thanking God that Simon Ekpa is behind bars. He is thanking God that the most beloved disciple of Nnamdi Kanu is behind bars. That means he's also grateful that Nnamdi Kanu is being held by the DSS for all these years, which is why Nnamdi Kanu had to sack him. He was not recused from his position. He was sacked from the position of being the so-called lead counsel of Nnamdi Kanu. A man who was here saying he was the most trusted of Nnamdi Kanu. Today, the big boss himself, Nnamdi Kanu, has sacked this idiot. But he's still here saying that he is the lead counsel of IPOB. Does that make sense? The head of IPOB sacked you from his case, and you still claim to be the lead counsel of IPOB. What an oxymoron. Let's continue. Listen.
We know that some of this, we are not unaware of the fact that some of this money that making through these illicit activities then are being transported to him, and some is being sent to people to encourage them. So when I saw the publication by the federal government, I wasn't surprised at all, because they know it must be a product of painstaking investigation and a stock taking of his activities and those and his allies. So I commend also the federal government for such a diligent job.
Over there, he's also commending the federal government that they wrote out a list of so-called financiers of our fundraising. You and I know that all these years, in the days of IPOB, when Nnamdi Kanu was here, we were doing fundraising. Simon Ekpa was one of those supporting during the fundraising. And now, in the government of USB, we are still doing fundraising. But to today, this so-called lead counsel of IPOB is thanking the federal government of Nigeria. He is pro-Nigeria. He loves the activities of the federal government of Nigeria. A people, a government, an institution holding Nnamdi Kanu somewhere for the past how many years. He had the guts, the audacity to thank them for writing out names of Biafrans, who they say they are the so-called funders, the financiers of terrorism. The same activity that Nnamdi Kanu was doing, the same people that were funding Nnamdi Kanu are the same people funding Simon Ekpa. There is no, I was funding Nnamdi Kanu during his time when he was here with us, and I'm still funding Simon Ekpa. So how come I'm a saint when I was funding Nnamdi Kanu, and now I'm a villain? I'm a terrorist now. I'm a killer. I'm a financier of terrorism for supporting the 80 million Biafrans who have redeclared their nation. Let that sink in. Fellow Biafrans, take a paper and pen, I repeat for the last time, and jot down this point. Because from just this interview, the evidence you will have will blow your mind. And I am sure going forward, you won't have to ask no more question of those who are behind the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu, the illegal detention of Nnamdi Kanu in Nigeria. Those who work with Nigerian government to kidnap him from Kenya. Those who smoked him out from Kenya. And those who are still going against Simon Ekpa, his most beloved disciple. Those who forced Nnamdi Kanu to denounce Simon Ekpa, which he has refused to do till this day. Now you get a clearer picture. Now you understand. Now you are seeing the lost picture. The lost piece in that artwork. Now you are seeing it. Now you are getting the clarity of what we are dealing with. And I pray by the grace of God, soon and very soon, we shall be able to reveal those in the government of Simon Ekpa who are still agents of IPOB Nigeria, who are working with Nigeria, who are working with this man here, and the rest. Soon and very soon, the God we serve will reveal them. Soon and very soon. But you can tell by their antics. But soon and very soon, they will be revealed. Let's continue.
And I believe that the Finland authority will possibly, because I understand from every indication they are still assembling facts and evidence for this possible prosecution. No, prosecution has not started. So, and they must Sunday give account of stewardship before a court over there. Because we lost so many people in the course of his activities. People were killed, people were abducted. In fact, if you're following up what's happening in social media, revelations, which have started emerging of late, you will not be unsettled, as a matter of fact, by those mind-boggling revelations. So people are killed, kidnapped, buried. People were, some people even translated on their human parts, from what I heard. So it's horrible and heinous. They completely desecrated our land, which you need by special grace of God for our land to be healed.
Hold it there. He just attributed all the killings to Simon Ekpa, one man who is in faraway Finland. And he's thanking the Finnish government. That Simon Ekpa is being held somewhere incommunicado. And he believes that one day he will face his day in court. But fellow Biafrans, I want to pose to this man that since our leader Simon Ekpa was taken away, ever since then, the killings in Biafra land has quadrupled. We are seeing more killings. We are seeing the Fulani headsmen coming in. We've seen Ebubeagwe, AVG, and the rest of them dragging lifeless bodies through and through the land of Biafra. We've seen the activities of the terrorists from Nigeria since the absence of Simon Ekpa. The killings in our land, the bloodshed has been in an all-time high. So the question I want to pose to this man now is, who should we hold responsible? Since you claim all the atrocities that was happening when Simon Ekpa was here with us, all the killings you claim was, due to Simon Ekpa. You placed the whole responsibility on the shoulder of Simon Ekpa. So I want to pose to you, in the absence of Simon Ekpa, whom shall we blame? Only a fool will put what is happening in the land of Biafra on the shoulders of just one man. Only a fool, a non-entity, somebody who doesn't understand the stakes, somebody who believes in Nigeria, somebody who is a saboteur will do that. And men like you have proven yourself, and we are so glad that Oyendo spotted you out. Hence, he sacked you from his case. Because you were the eye of the Nigerian government in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. During your time, Nnamdi Kanu could not even speak in court. During your time, there was no direction to the court or the case of Nnamdi Kanu. But we are glad. At the time of our good brother, Aloy Ejiofor, a man that you all hate in IPOB, Nigeria Limited. A man that you all in the DOS, you condemn him. He's doing a good job. Aloy Ejiofor, Maxwell, Okpara, and the rest of them, they are doing an excellent job. We are glad that Oyendo was able to spot out the snake amongst them. And you were sacked from that case. And it is clear. We now know where you stand. We now know who you are working for all these years. And we are glad that it wasn't too late for us to find out. Let's continue.
God, of course, you can see that there is relative peace. It's arresting them over there in Finland. We are enjoying relative peace in the land. Now, across the southeast, as a matter of fact, it wasn't as serious and as pronounced as it used to be before. So, and I'm praying the state executives across the southeast to sustain the temple. That's my prayers to them, and also sustain the temple and restore total peace in the land. Going forward, what do you think can be done to be able to get the people of the southeast to come out of this fear that you had in the past? You know, the problem there, let me explain this to you. The problem we encounter with Simon Ekpa's activities is as serious as what you can never imagine. Because at a point in time, you know, he started with addressing himself as Nnamdi Kanu's spokesperson, a disciple, first of all, disciple, from there to spokesperson of IPOB, which he never was. So now, at the end of the day, he formed the Biafran government in exile. So, throughout this period of time, the security then deliberately we are attributing his activities to IPOB. When they are fully aware that he wasn't part of IPOB, he was not working for them, it's not part of them. It was deliberately done to demonize IPOB as an organization. Now, it now follows that anybody who is arrested, probably either mistakenly or by information, or who has any form of affiliation with IPOB, cannot be released. As a matter of fact, they cannot even track where he's been detained, place of detention. So we have so many people that were arrested during that process. But both those who knows nothing about what he was doing, and those who merely come out to proclaim themselves as IPOB, genuinely as IPOB members.
Hold it there, with all due respect. I put it back to you as well, that during the activities of Simon Ekpa, you all claimed he was working for the Nigerian government. You said he was a spy. You all said he was doing what he was doing because Tinubu has paid him. You made all forms of accusations. He was working for Atiku. Tinubu was the one that sponsored him to Finland. As a payback to Tinubu, he is doing what he's doing to make Tinubu to become president. These were the accusations, the false accusations that you placed on the head of Simon Ekpa. But now today that the same Nigerian government have come with a false accusation against Simon Ekpa. You are now trying to spin the narrative around and try to put the blame solely on Simon Ekpa. You said he claimed to be the disciple of Nnamdi Kanu. When Nnamdi Kanu was here with us, Simon Ekpa professed his love, affection, affinity for Nnamdi Kanu, and he said to his face, I am your disciple and I will not let you down. If you say you need 100 men, I will make your job easier because in me, I am 15-1. And ever since, he's been doing a great job for Nnamdi Kanu. Not only that, he co-hosted in programs with Nnamdi Kanu. In fundraising, he was there with Nnamdi Kanu. And of a truth, Nnamdi Kanu told us to listen to Simon Ekpa Share his videos because Simon is coming with a new dimension. I repeat, the one you call the killer of his people, the one you said was using the name of Nnamdi Kanu to parade and become, have selfish interest. That same man, Nnamdi Kanu, told the 80 million Biafrans to listen to him, share his videos because Simon was coming with a new dimension. A new dimension. So please save me all this cries and all this baloney you're talking about. We know the truth. We know those who are working for Nnamdi Kanu. We know those that the Biafrans we believe in. We know those that we trust. We know those that have trusting behaviors. We know those who are trustworthy. We know those who are fighting for the liberation of the land of Biafra. Not men like you who worship the politicians, who glorify the politicians, who call yourself the most trusted of Nnamdi Kanu, but you were sacked by the same Nnamdi Kanu. We know those who are profiting from the pillage of the land of Biafra. A man like Simon Ekpa is far from that. And the games you are playing, we can tell where it will go, where it will lead, because you all said he was working for Tinubu, that when he was a sports star in Nigeria, Tinubu was the one that sponsored him to UK, from UK to Finland, and hence he was doing what he was doing to sabotage Nnamdi Kanu. That was the accusation you placed on Simon Ekpa. You said he was working with Nigerian government, but today that same Nigerian government, under a government of Tinubu, are the ones coming with a false accusation against Simon Ekpa. You see, you can fool the gullibles. You can fool the deaf, dumb, and blind. You can fool those who are not aware, those minors, those infants. You can fool the gullible ones, but not us. We are the educated ones. We are the enlightened ones. We know those who are really working for the liberation of Biafra land. And we have pitched our tent on the shoulders of Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa. Let's continue.
And this guy should be arrested because his activities have been attributed to IPB. That was the problem. So I can assure you today, from record available to us, that we have thousands of our people in detention across board. And the worst part is that you will not go anywhere. You will not go to any of these detention facilities to see them. As long as someone is being detained in Sanso place, probably in CID, in Mr. A's CID, or DSS office at Mr. C. Sit with that area C. You go there, they will tell you, I don't know about this thing.
That's because it's been going on way before the time of Simon Ekpa, with all due respect. We know how Biafrans have been vanished by the Nigerian government way back before 2019. Simon Ekpa got or joined the movement in the year 2019. And all the activities from 2012 of Nnamdi Kanu up to 2019, prior to when Simon Ekpa joined, we know how Biafrans have been met with an untimely death in the hands of the Nigerian government. Even when Peter Obi was the governor, we saw what he did in Oji River, where Biafrans were killed in Oji River. There was no Simon Ekpa then. Biafrans been taken from the southeast to the north, locked up somewhere, and the keys discarded. There was no Simon Ekpa then. So don't put the blames of the activities that have been going on way back since 2012. Don't put it on Simon Ekpa, because there was no Simon Ekpa prior to that time. You see, this is the problem. Those that don't know history, this man is about to paint a picture to say, because of Simon Ekpa now, the Nigerian government, they pick up somebody who is innocent, lock him somewhere without even knowing, having no trial or whatever, no statement taken from him. This has been going on way ahead before the time of Simon Ekpa. So I will not allow you to attribute those tactics by the Nigerian government on Simon Ekpa. It's been going on way back. And they're still doing it now, in the absence of Simon Ekpa. You see, you can fool the deaf, dumb, and blind, but not people like us. Ifeanyi Ejiofor, the gloves are off. To the zoo called Nigeria, we now know That those who were around Nnamdi Kanu were the ones that sold him out. It is clear because the so-called lead counsel of IPOB. Let's continue.
Don't know about what happened. We don't even know have any information about the person we're talking about. This is a problem. So until the enforce disappearance of people is a gross violation of human rights. People are not allowed access to their lawyers, are not allowed access to relatives. People whereabouts who we are detained, arrested at this point in time, or whereabouts, I don't know.
See this number right here.
People are not allowed access to their lawyers, are not allowed access to relatives. People whereabouts who we are detained, arrested at this point in time, or whereabouts, I don't know. Some are being today detained at Wajib Barracks in Niger State today. Many of them are there. So this is a problem we found ourselves into.
And you blame your seat and you blame it on Simon Ekpa. This was the problem you found yourself into. And you put the blame. The reason was because of Simon Ekpa. God have mercy. Biafrans, this is the problem. We know how they were disappearing our people way back since 2012. Way back. When Peter Obi was still the governor. We know the activities of Peter Obi. The Peter Obi they love now. We know the activities, the antics of Peter Obi. We know what's happened in Oji River. And in the advent of Buhari, we know how Biafrans were being picked up and locked up somewhere. Incommunicado. They take those statements off you. Not even the men alone, the women were being taken away from Biafra land and locked up incommunicado. They throw away the keys. Till this day, people are still being held in fire away in the north. Biafrans. It's been going on way back since 2015 from the government of the then idiots they call Bob Buhari. The idiots. But somehow they've left all that. They've erased history of what has been going on since 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 2021 was the rise of Simon Ekpa. That was when he rose, when they kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu. But now this man here is speaking as if all these atrocities were not happening during the time of Nnamdi Kanu. But when you hear the gospel of Nnamdi Kanu, he was preaching, crying about the kidnapping of the people of Biafra. But according to Ifeanyi Ejiofor, no. It was peaceful. It was fine. The government of Nigeria were working amicably with IPOB until Simon Ekpa came. There was no arrest, no illegal arrest of any Biafran until Simon Ekpa came. No Biafran was kidnapped until Simon Ekpa came. Nobody was killed, until Simon Ekpa came. That's what he's saying, according to his own analysis. Biafrans, people around the whole world, let this sink in. Now it is clear those who worked against Nnamdi Kanu and those who are working against Simon Ekpa. My only prayer is soon and very soon, we shall be able to identify, unravel those in the cabinet of Simon Ekpa who are still working with this man, IPOB, DOS, and the rest of them, because they are there. And I pray by God's grace, we shall smoke them out very, very soon. It won't be too long. When Obatobi is out, this nonsense will end. Because they are still there. They are still there. Let's continue.
The security agents are there, violating the right, arresting them, detaining them arbitrarily. Then those who are lucky to be detained and arrested, some are being killed. Then Simon Ekpa is on the one side, killing our people, abducting them kidnapping them for ransom in broad daylight. At the same time. So this is a situation we face at the point in time. So I also use this opportunity to appeal to federal government and security agents to profile these people and promptly release them unconditionally. Do you know those? I've already, then at the point in question, during those evil days of Simon Ekpa, in so many occasions, written opinion, and I said, you people should identify your targets. Then when you identify your targets, you should know where they are. and go after them and allow innocent people season to be.
This is what he's saying. The Nigerian government should identify Biafrans as targets. Those fighting for their freedom. Those that have the right to speak for their own liberation. This man called them targets. And he wrote to the federal government of Nigeria, that shithole country, a contraption. He wrote to them to come up with a way to find their targets and go against their targets. Now you understand how Ikonso was found as a target, a commander of ESN, and was killed. Now you see how Commander Gentle, the real Commander Gentle, was found out as a target in the house of this same man. A commander who was there invited for dinner, not knowing that his food was already laced with drugs and poison that made him to be weak and dizzy. And when the DSS came to his house, to this man's house, they only went to one room where the commander was staying. They killed him, put him in a car, and to disguise and cover up their antics, they drove the car somewhere and burnt it up. This man claimed he was in the house, but somehow the DSS, they were a respecter of properties that they only searched just one room. But according to him, if you leave him, he will say, oh, he was hiding in a particular room and they didn't see him. He was so lucky. They didn't see him. I begin to wonder, does it really make sense? Now it does, because he told the federal government to identify their targets. Because it makes no sense if the DSS is going to the home of Ifeanyi Ejiofor in the night. It means they were coming to arrest, I say, the owner of the house, Ifeanyi Ejiofor. But because they had a target, who was in the house of Ifeanyi Ejiofor, it means they went to the house address, the home of Ifeanyi Ejiofor. But they were not looking for Ifeanyi Ejiofor. They got to the house. They knew the room the person was staying, the commander. They killed him. They shot him some bullets. The bullets were not piercing through. He was tied up, put in a car. And guess what? The other house or the other rooms were not searched because they had a target. They had a target. Now it is clear. They came to your house not because they were after you. Wow, my God, have mercy. That's a strange one. That the DSS, the Nigerian military, the DSS came to your house not because they were after you, but they had a target. They knew the room that the target was. Strangely, strangers came to your house and they could tell what room a target was. Strangers came to your house. They didn't knock down the whole doors. They only came to a particular room. It only tells me, it means somebody spoke to the DSS, planned with the DSS, and told them where to find the target. Fellow Biafrans, follow who no road. My gloves are off. The days of joking and doing caricature I'm in war mode now, going forward. The days of cracking jokes are done. Let them come for me. They will come for me. That's what they do. Let them come. I'm ready. But remember, I told you so. When I break these guys down intellectually, they will expose their own self with their mouth. That the DSS came to your house in the night, in the wee hours of the night, and they only went to one room. They saw somebody there. They killed him. The bullet did not enter his body. He was tied up, put in a car, drove away. Who gave them the car keys? Do you tell? How did they find your car keys if they didn't communicate with nobody in the house? They drove somewhere and they burnt him alive in that car, in the car boot. And suddenly, the other rooms were not searched. There was no rundown of the house, no ransacking of the house. That's because they were given the target to go and eliminate. And they knew that the target was placed in a particular position by those they communicated with, which was why the other rooms were not checked, because the informants were in those rooms. Biafrans, follow who no road. Let's continue.
You shouldn't, in the course of looking for a criminal who are terrorizing the country, terrorizing the state, terrorizing the civilians, you go about arresting innocent people who have no connection with them, who doesn't know what they're doing. Mothers and fathers have been arrested, children have been arrested, they have been arrested at the point in time. So I'm praying for our government to immediately and unconditionally profile those arrested, those who are still in their detention, and release them, release the innocent ones among them, profile them. They have information among them. They know those who are working with Simon. Of course, a few days ago they came up with this information study. Those they classify as financial. How they got this information? That will aid them to know those who are working with them, and allow the innocent people who have contributed nothing, who are not involved in any form of crime, or who are not associated with Simon by any form, to go scot-free, to go there, go back to their homes.
Very well said. Very well said. Now, you have handled, as a civil lawyer, you've handled some of this type of issue matters that have been in court. Can you tell us a few about some of this issue that you've actually handled and how far they go in courts?
Well, the point is that we have been in this case, we've been in IPOP cases since 2015, almost these 10 years. We have been in the case of IPOB. We've done a lot for them, we are succeeding. Because I have almost virtually constantly maintained the right to self-determination is a constitutional guaranteed right. And it's a right that is sacrosanct and cannot be taken away. Right? I should be arrested and prosecuted. That was my advice. I don't encourage any form of criminality. If you're a native doctor, you're allowed to practice a religion. But in the course of doing that, and you're involved in any form of crime, you should be arrested. It's not something we should make us about. It's not something I call for noise making or further declaration. It doesn't call for it. It's simplicity.
All right, hold it there, my people. I'll leave it here. I'm not here to discuss the political activities of that so-called Nigeria and their Southeast governors. Fellow Biafrans, you've heard from this man who has put all the blame on Simon Ekpa. It is clear. I hope from my few viewpoints that I've been able to show you all, expose the fraud in this man. He's a liar. He doesn't believe in the Biafra movement, because if he does, he wouldn't speak so ill of the most beloved disciple of Nnamdi Kanu. Fellow Biafrans, I will leave it here, but I want you all to know that the gloves are off. All they do is, attack my channel and they shut it down, but I am assuring you all, the next day, I will create a brand new channel with this same name, Biafra Superstars Media. All I want you to do is remember the name. When you are looking for the gospel truth, all you have to do, go to the internet, go to YouTube and search Biafra Superstars Media. I will come up with a brand new channel. The gloves are off. But it's so funny that those who have been here for so many years, they don't shut them down. But when they know that this one, he's a problem, this one knows how to decode and expose their secrets, all they want to do is silence me. This is my 5th channel, for crying out loud. My 5th channel since 2021. But a man, a boy like Mayegu, still has one channel, not shut down whatsoever. That tells you who is speaking the truth and who is just here to make play games, become a jester to the clown, to become a comedian to the people. Fellow Biafrans, as I wrap this one up, I want us to please keep on supporting the structure laid down by our leader, Mazi Simon Ekpa. And we pray very, very soon he will join us. Because I said the gloves are off, I will start a series of a countdown of the return of Simon Ekpa. I will be more analytical. I will be more scientific in my approach. Because we know that all the gimmicks that Finland is doing, the president of Finland, the government of Finland, all the gimmicks will end by the 26th of May, 2025. According to the law of Finland, the leeway they have, the window they have to do all this charade against Simon Ekpa will end on the 25th or 26th of May. That is when the Nigerian government will have to come with the evidence to claim that Simon Ekpa is a terrorist and a killer of his people. As they say, as they claim. We shall wait on that day and see what will happen. Because it's so funny, I wonder, if you need this man so much, how come you are waiting to provide your evidence? How come you are elongating the time? How come you are trying to maximize the time of holding somebody? Why don't you come with your evidence straight away? But that's Nigeria for you. In Nigeria, elephant can fly. That's the game they play. Their intention was to keep Simon Ekpa somewhere, hold him somewhere, with the hopes that the flock will scatter, with the hopes that the saboteurs they have within the government of Simon Ekpa will destroy Simon Ekpa. And by God's grace, I'm praying, when Simon Ekpa returns and exposes those criminals within his government, I'll be one of those to go all out and keep on exposing them, their children, their children's children's children, and forever. They will never be allowed to return to the land of Biafra. So for some of you out there who know that you are playing games, some of you who know you are tools being used by the Nigerian government against Simon Ekpa and the government of Biafra, I will advise you to wash your hands and walk away. Wash your hands off the government of Simon Ekpa and walk away. If you are part of the government, I don't care if it's Briggy or USB. If you know you are a member of the saboteurs, sabotaging Simon Ekpa, making him to go what he's going through now in Finland, and trying to sabotage the hard work of the government of Simon Ekpa. If you are one of those, it is high time you washed your hands off your activities. Because people like us, we will never forgive you. We shall never forgive nor forget you and your activities in trying to topple the government of Simon Ekpa. Fellow Biafrans, I will leave it here. All I want to say is, may God bless you. May God bless the government of Biafra. And may God bless the land of Biafra. Thank you and God bless.
Biafra must be restored, for there is nothing the enemies can do about it. You brought Biafra that light may come into Africa. You gave us hope because we are in a continent of hopelessness. And by thy grace, Biafra shall be restored. We shall be resurrected. We shall crown our efforts with the glory by the grace of the Most High Himself. We are not strong. We do not pretend to be strong. All we do is to submit ourselves to your will, that your will may be done upon our lives. We have lost many people. We have lost so many good people. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten. We shall honor them, and for their sake, Biafra will come. Because we are wandering all over the world, hoping against every hope that things will turn around for the better. It has never turned around for the better. Instead, it is getting worse. Please do not abandon your children. You have given us a commission, and we must accomplish it in our lifetime. Our enemies are equally important because they must listen. Those who do not love the truth must listen. Those who are beholden to darkness, they must also listen. For we are here to bring light upon a very darkened continent without Biafra. Africa is nothing without Biafra. There is no difference between a black man and a wild animal in the forest. We say every shred with every ounce of conviction. I welcome each and every one of you. If you're joining us for the very first time, this is Radio Biafra. This is how we do it. We magnify the name of the Most High before we do anything. That is why we are exceptionally formidable. That is why